It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
You know what time it is. It is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend. Lots going on.
I feel like it's been way too long, man, since Michigan's held that trophy. Good win by them. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic today. How can you not? I mean, it's November 1st.
You're not. I see what you did there.
It's November 1st, and it's 70 friggin' degrees out.
It is beautiful, man. Like, I literally had like a little small jacket that I was going to put on, and I instantly took it off when I jumped in the car, man. It's a beautiful day. You can never tell in Michigan, can you? You just never can tell. Cold, warm. It's supposed to be fall, and here it is, warm as hell.
Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you, my friend.
What up, fellas? Lions are in the news, and the NFL trade deadline is like the NHL trade deadline these days. It's been great.
It is coming in fast and furious. Braylon Edwards, we're going to talk a lot of college football today. We're going to talk to your former Jet quarterback teammate,
yes,
Mark
sir.
Sanchez,
excited about that
momentarily. And what a day to talk to him because the Lions made a trade today. Braylon, let me get your reaction to this. The Lions trade away T.J. Hockenson to the Minnesota Vikings. He stays within the division. Minnesota sends a 2023 second-round pick and a third-round pick in 24. The Detroit Lions send Hockenson and 2 picks, a fourth round, and that 2024 pick is a conditional pick. It's going to be a fifth-round pick if Minnesota wins a playoff game. If they do not, it'll become a fourth-round pick. But your reaction to T.J. Hockenson being traded away in the final year of his rookie deal?
I think it's a good move. I think, with the tight end market being what it is because of guys like Travis Kelce and George Kittle, the Detroit Lions would have had to have broke him off, even if they franchised him. They would have had to pay him. And I never was a fan of the pick. 3 years ago, never was a fan of the pick. Although I like him sometimes, he's not worth that Travis Kelce, that George Kittle type money. I think you get some draft capital in there. You get a second-round pick. You add to the value. You said it was a 3-year rebuild. Next year, 2023, is going to be the pivotal breaking point for Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. So I think it was a good move. Kind of payback for the Minnesota Vikings, giving us Jameson Williams, if you will. But I think it was a good move. They got rid of it. They don't have to pay him. Because there were some games this year where they were in it, and T.J. Hockenson was nowhere to be found. So I think it was a good move.
Whether you think he's a good player or not, whether you think this is a good trade or not, they were not going to re-sign T.J. Hockenson. Did they have to trade him away this year? Could they have picked up his fifth-year rookie option? But this is how you stay bad, right? I mean, this is how you stay bad when you have number 8 overall picks that you trade away within the division.
That's back-to-back tight ends drafted number 1. Both traded away, so both failures here in Detroit, and I don't like it. If they would have gotten 2 picks for him, I would have liked it. But you're giving 2 picks plus him, I don't like it. And I know it's a continuation with the Minnesota GM and our GM, Brad Holmes, from draft day. You remember, Vikings traded with us on draft day. Like, wow, they're trading in-house here, in the division. They're going to let us move all the way up and take Jameson Williams. Well, guess what? These 2 guys work together, and they don't care about the old school, don't trade in your own division anymore. These guys, I guess, they're the new GM deals, the way they do it. I wouldn't have done it, but see you later, TJ.
So what would you have done, Ryan Ermanni? You would legitimately finish the season out and then let him exhaust his contract, and then what? Let him hit the free agent market?
I think if there's one player on the Detroit Lions that the Lions were willing to part with and that somebody else wanted, it was T.J. Hockenson. I don't love trading him in the division, but that aside, they weren't going to pick up his option, so you get a second-round pick. The next 7 months for the Detroit Lions are going to be so pivotal for the next 4, 5, 6 seasons for the Detroit Lions. We talk about this all the time, Bray. They've been rebuilding since 1957. It's kind of a joke around here, rebuilding since 1957. The guys that come in to rebuild have to rebuild again. And that's kind of where I feel we are with Holmes and Campbell a couple of years in here.
But you essentially now you free up $9 million in cap room next year, and then also you have 5 of the top 65 picks in the draft next year. He said it was going to be a 3-year rebuild, and I get it. You're absolutely correct. It does feel like we're always rebuilding. It does feel like the new regime that comes in has to rebuild on top of what was there before them. But I think they're doing it the right way. We said we like Brad Holmes' moves. We said we like what he's done so far. He's been aggressive. He's saved money to get money so that he has more for free agency as well next year. I think if we said we're going to believe in him, I said we're going to trust him, we got to do something different to get a different result for the Detroit Lions franchise. So I say we just jump on board and just let it play out.
I guess it is what it is. This is a team that's really just spinning their wheels. Let's face it. I think they're not done. There's just under 2 hours left of the trade deadline. Why the hell not? Why even keeping Jamal Williams then at this point? Maybe there's another team out there that wants a guy that could score from the goal line, a guy with a good attitude. I wouldn't doubt that there's another trade out there for the Lions.
I'm emotionally dead with the Detroit Lions. I just am. I have nothing left to give the organization.
I saw that tweet, by the way.
I am. I'm emotionally dead inside with the Detroit Lions. I have nothing left to give them because I've gotten so very little in return. But I go back to this next 7 months as being the most crucial time that this organization has for the next 4, 5, 6 years moving forward, because let me just say, these picks have to be the right picks. Aiden Hutchinson, Jamison Williams, Josh Paschal, Kirby Joseph. Those 4 players have to not only be starters for you, they have to be good NFL players.
You better add James Mitchell in there, the 5th round pick, because that's your new tight end.
I'm getting there, but nonetheless, I'm not going to go ahead and say the 5th round pick. Or I'm not even adding Malcolm Rodriguez in here as a 6th round pick. If you see what I'm doing, you have no margin for error in those first 2 rounds.
Oh, don't forget about Penei Sewell. You got to add him in there too.
That's next. Yeah. So you've got Amon-Ra, Penei Sewell, and I'll throw Jeff Okudah in. Pretty good player, okay?
Yeah.
So you've got those 7 players right there. You have to get 4 starters. 4. I'm not even going to say that 3rd round pick has to be a starter for you. 2 firsts in 2 seconds next year have to be 4 starters for you next year. Not only starters, but impact players.
Difference makers.
These are, I just named for you 4 starters that they're going to get in the first 2 rounds here, and 7 players that they've gotten in the last year and a half. Those 11 players for you, you almost got to be, good, solid, good players. You can't miss. You can't miss on these guys.
Your scouting department has to be on. Like, the scouting department has to pay attention. They got to be doing their job right now so that when you get to April of next year, they draft the guys you need to create the change that you want to see. They've made some good moves with Penei Sewell. We can argue about Micah Parsons, et cetera, and all that, but Penei Sewell is a damn good player, has the potential to be a gold jacket. Jamison Williams, the verdict's out, although I do like that pick. So there are some good moves that are being made. But 2023, Ryan, you're absolutely correct. You got to get it right. You can't keep looking at teams like Seattle and watching Seattle have 5 guys start from this past draft. You can't look at the New York Jets, who I'm wearing the jersey, shout out to the Jets. You can't have the New York Jets. You're looking at them and you see Breece Hall starting, and he was going to be a guy that was on the way to the Pro Bowl before he got injured. You look at Quinnen Williams 3 years ago balling. You look at what those guys are doing, Sauce Gardner. You got to draft guys that are legitimately going to change your franchise, and sometimes you got to overlook some stuff. Like, sometimes you got to look at some stuff and you got to say, you know what? Oh, it's okay. You know what? He was young. He made a mistake, or it was this. You got to stop judging people for mistakes that they made when they were 19 or 20, or magnifying them so wide where you're like, we'll pass on you. And these players end up turning to be amazing players in the NFL. You got to change the way you think.
It turns out Irv Smith is injured. Mm-hmm. He could be out 6 to 8 weeks with an ankle sprain. So they had to go out and get this guy, because if you read over the weekend, there really wasn't much action on TJ Hockenson. Dave Burkett put out an article. We did here on WoodwardSports.com as well. that there wasn't a lot of action, a lot of rumors circulating with the Lions. And look what happened. Someone got hurt. Just happened to be a team in your own division.
Funniest thing about it is this past Friday, Ryan, if you do remember, I said T.J. Hockenson to Minnesota.
You did?
I called it.
You did say that.
Somebody told me that they had Irv Smith. I was like, who? I've never seen him play, because they have a system in play in Minnesota where they just don't have a tight end. They got 2 wide receivers. They got a damn good running back in Dalvin Cook. They got a quarterback that's very serviceable to get you to potentially the second round of the playoffs. They just need that tight end that can make the difference.
And by the way, that tight end is going to make a Pro Bowl for the Minnesota Vikings, right?
He's on track. He's on track.
We all know that, right? Like, you have to almost get past T.J. Hockenson is going to do great things for the Minnesota Vikings. You have to know that going in, but you have to be okay with your own team. Look, Minnesota got better today. Minnesota did what Philadelphia did and what San Francisco did. They got better today. If you tell me right now who are the 3 favorites in the NFC, I tell you Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Minnesota. Philadelphia got Robert Quinn, 49ers got Christian McCaffrey, and the Vikings got T.J. Hockenson.
Throw the Ravens in with what's his name?
But
I'm just talking about
the NFC specifically. Gotcha. You got a 3-team race right now that you're trying to compete with teams in. So you almost can't worry about helping Minnesota get better. You do have to take care of your own house. And what Brad Holmes right now has to do is he's got to pray that the right coaches are around Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Pascal right now. That Aiden Hutchinson and Josh, forget about the future picks. Yeah. You have to make sure that Hutchinson and Pascal were the right 2 picks this year. Because if they weren't, you're set back even further. You've got to pray. And I kind of like what I see from this kid. Braylon, you were high on him when he got drafted. Kirby Joseph.
Yep.
He looks like he can do some things.
Yeah.
You hope that he could be an above average starting safety for you. And then Okudah. Those are 4 solid defensive starters that you feel like you have right now. Again, I'm not even mentioning Rodriguez, because if you can get
whatever you get out of him is a bonus.
Whatever you get out of him is a bonus.
Yeah, with Kirby Joseph, one thing about the Detroit Lions is they haven't had that athletic ability in the secondary for the last, I don't know, maybe since Darius Slay. And even when Darius Slay was here, Darius Slay, Quandre Diggs was semi-athletic. The thing I liked about Kirby Joseph, he can hit. He tackles like he legitimately is a good tackler. He can hit. The Joker is athletic as I don't know what. He can run, and he reads well. He can play in the slot. He can cover tight ends as well as wide receivers. So I think he's going to be a guy that you'll see next year, maybe at the end of this year, but next year he's going to be a real good player for the Detroit Lions.
Vikings aren't done either. Rumor is Brandon Cooks from Houston they're really hot and heavy after him right now. There's a couple teams. The Vikings are the leaders. So about an hour and 45 minutes to go till the trade deadline is over. Let's see.
I like that Brandon Cooks, Minnesota. I just thought that Dallas was the perfect fit for what they're going through a wide receiver. I thought that was a perfect fit for Brandon Cooks.
Maybe Houston and Dallas won't trade.
AFC, NFC?
I know. Maybe there's some Texas rivalry there. Who knows?
Could be.
You never know. What the hell? Guys, we're going to be joined by Braylon's former teammate next. Mark Sanchez will do that. He's currently a Fox NFL analyst. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
That's right. 27 locations, a couple right here on Woodward Avenue. If you join the Pepper Club, they're going to save you $5 on unlimited tanning against any competitor out there. The cleanest salons in the D, they got the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters is chilipepperstanning.com.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Woodward Front Row. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man!
I just need you to trust me, that's all. Please.
I don't care if I got one toe, two butt cheeks, and a rock.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Centron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, and now for a limited time, why don't you do yourself a favor? Go to CentronWorld.com/Red Wings and pick up their limited edition 6-pack. That's right, cranberry, sugar-free, and the classic favorite. Centron is here. They've partnered up with the Detroit Red Wings as well as WoodwardSports.com so that they can re-energize the community the right way. So let them drink it, live it. What's Centron?
Hey guys, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey is with us. We got Fletch and JB in the house as well. NFL trade deadline coming up 4 o'clock Eastern time. Lots of moves, including TJ Hockenson, Lions tight end, former first-round pick, going to the Minnesota Vikings today. Let's talk with our Fox NFL game analyst, Braylon Edwards' former teammate, the one, the only, Mark Sanchez, everybody. How you doing, Mark?
Buddy, if I were any better, it'd be against the law, but I need a 20-second timeout here. Did I just see Braylon reading promos off of the prompter?
No, I don't read the prompter. I do it off memory, baby. You know me, I'm smooth.
No, get out of here.
Mark, hold on.
Reading
Mark,
it's not easy. It's not as easy as people think. But Braylon, I'm impressed, dude.
Hold on.
He sounds good. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about, so somebody's helping him out.
I got a big head, man. Don't make it any bigger. But no, man, I don't read the prompter. I was like, look, the Detroit Red Wings have partnered up with Centron to bring you re-energizing the community. WoodwardSports.com.
You're just giving away money now.
Drink it. Live it, baby.
That's a free plug.
No kidding. You got to get a check for that,
ain't nothing free over here, baby. What's up, man?
Buddy, I'm doing awesome. I was, interested in that conversation you guys were having around the trade deadline. I was still waiting for a big receiver to get on the move, whether it's Brandon Cooks or
Jerry Jeudy.
I thought Jeudy maybe. I thought Claypool.
Claypool did go, Mark.
Claypool's
just minutes ago to the Chicago Bears.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Claypool to the Chicago
when did that
Bears.
That just happened.
Like 2 minutes ago.
Like
3 minutes ago.
Okay. Yeah, it's quick.
I will say though, what do you think Aaron Rodgers is saying?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go.
I thought the Giants were going to snag him. Just watching that game and we had 3 of their games already, and Daniel Jones is playing his butt off. But the receivers, there's just so much turnover, and they need a playmaker, and Galladay's been down. Tony got sent to the Chiefs, so it's like I just thought they would make a big move. I'm curious to find out, all the fallout happens in the next 3 days or whatever, where you find out, hey, these guys offered a 1, these guys offered a 5 or whatever. I'm very curious to hear how that all went down and who was in on that Claypool sweepstakes. But yeah, I mean, a guy like Aaron Rodgers, like they got Sammy Watkins, but he just hasn't been available. He's working with those young guys, with Dubs and Watson. And, Braylon knows this. Like, you're a big-time wide receiver. There's an adjustment that happens. Yeah. And if you're coming from a small school, different than Braylon's experience, and you go to play with one of the best ever, and there's a lot of pressure there, and then you drop the first pass of the season. It's a walk-off touchdown, basically, and it's like now the game between your ears is bigger than the game on the field. So,
and then he's not the guy you want to drop a pass for him.
No,
He's not the guy you want to drop a pass from.
Hey, Mark, let me ask you. It's kind of a two-part question. So, back in 2009, you were the first-round pick of the Jets. So you go 5 overall. At that point, do you just thank God that you don't go number 1 to the Lions?
No, I do remember being there, and I mean, it was like a lead pipe lock that Matthew Stafford was going number 1. The Lions were going to take him, but they brought me in for a visit, and so I'm sitting there, and it was Coach Schwartz, Mayhew, Linehan,
wow,
and that whole regime, right? And I remember sitting there, and they put you through film, and they show you the building and all this stuff. And at one point, I just kind of asked everybody, like, what am I doing here? I know you guys are going with Stafford. Why am I here?
Oh, my God.
You guys have to fly me out here and put me up in a I know that's a drop in the bucket for an organization, like money-wise, but I was like, I don't want to waste your time. I don't think you want to waste my time. What are we doing here?
You know what? We continue to ask.
It was a great visit, though. I did like them. I thought they were great. I was just shocked that I was there.
We continue to ask that question yearly since 1957. What are we doing here with the Detroit Lions? What about trading within your division? Why is it so hard for some organizations to never get it right? I mean, you were just doing a game this weekend with the Giants, right? I mean, Lions fans have kind of mirrored them. So you look at the Giants and, well, what the hell are they doing that we can't do here?
Or the Jets, yeah.
Yeah, I just I was a little surprised that they gave up Hockenson like that to the Vikings. Usually it's just kind of a no-no. Like, you just don't do that because you got to face that guy twice a year. I mean, that's the easiest reason I could think of. But, you know, if they're acquiring the draft capital, listen, I know it's, you know, 1 win on the season. People are, same old line. But they do play a little different. It's a brand of football that looks a little different. It's hard to justify because you're not winning the games, right? But you're competitive in these games now. You're scoring 40 points. I mean, that hasn't happened in decades for this team. So it's like, I understand, and this growth process is painful. It's long. It's arduous, right?
Yeah.
But I think they're headed in the right direction. I really do. I think they'll let Jared Goff kind of play this thing out, and then at a certain point, you know, they're basically building up this team around him, acquiring all the draft capital. So when it comes time to pass the torch to their stud young quarterback, who they're going to put all the hopes and dreams and aspirations of that franchise in, the team around him, much like the Jets in 2009, are ready to go, right? Or at least close enough to where we go make a move for Braylon in my rookie year, right? Where defense, legit. Special teams, done deal. O-line, running backs, okay, receivers were solid. We got Jaco, we got Stuck, we got Dustin Keller. Okay, what can we do? Boom. Braylon's available? Hell yeah, let's go get his ass. Boom. Next year, Santonio Holmes, let's go get his ass.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're rolling. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of, you know, the Vikings are a good example of that. They're ready. They're at that next stage of, hey, we're going to be one of these Final Four teams at the end of the year playing for a championship spot. Let's steal one on the way, give up a couple picks. The Lions are still acquiring those picks, add in the players, and then it's, you know, another year or so, and they'll be off to the races, hopefully.
Yeah, let's do this. The Detroit Lions are looking at 1-6 right now, Mark. They're looking at the number 1 pick in the draft. Obviously, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell said they've been building for the 3-year. They've been building, so 3 years is what they said it was going to take to get ready. So, you know, we're chilling. Next year, number 1 pick. What quarterback should the Detroit Lions take? And I'm transitioning to college because, you know, I'm about to ask you about USC and the Big Ten. But first things first, what quarterback should the Detroit Lions go at? Is it CJ or is it Bryce?
Gosh, I feel like consistency-wise, Bryce has been the most consistent, right? And you look at these guys, even Mac Jones, right? Bryce has way more athleticism than him. But like a guy like Mac Jones or Bryce that comes out of that Saban tree, the one thing that really stands out, they're going to make rookie mistakes. They're going to have, you know, bonehead errors, whatever. But they also have this ability to just know how to win and understand the game from like a global perspective, right? Like the 500-foot view at times. They see how everything fits into it. And a lot of that is Coach Saban and the way they've learned and grown up in this game. I put a lot of emphasis in that. I put a lot of stock in that. I think that's really, really important for a quarterback to understand how and why, not just the who and the what. So I really do respect that. The last few guys that come out of Ohio State hasn't been great. You know, not that they can't do it. I do like Justin Fields. I still think. I mean, the fact that they went and got him a receiver, I'm like, finally, we actually have the Lions-Bears game in 2 weeks. We go Bengals this week, but Lions-Bears next week.
Oh yeah, you told me on Saturday. Yep.
And it's finally, they get him some help, right? Because this was one of the, worst rosters for a quarterback.
It's horrible. Worst offensive line, no wide receiver, no running game.
How do you expect this guy? Yeah, like how do you expect him to grow? It's like putting a kid in pickup basketball. And then, bringing him to like a skills camp where he has to do drills and stuff. Well, he's never done that. He's just run around and shot balls up like just whatever. And how do you teach him to play like that without enough players around him? But sorry, back to your question. I do love Bryce Young. I love his consistency. And in the biggest games, he's shown up, man.
100%.
Got to shine the brightest. When it's, the brightest stage, like let's go, or on the biggest stage rather, you gotta go. And he's done that.
I've argued with the group here at WoodwardSports.com. I've always argued Bryce over C.J. Young. And the big reason for that is when you look at Bryce Young, he has moments already. He has moments where he's proven himself, whether it was almost beating Georgia when their team was not nearly as good as Georgia in the national championship, whether it was beating Georgia in the SEC game at championship, whether it was the Auburn game where he had to go 94 yards in 45 seconds. Like, he's shown you that he's ready for the moment. So I would choose Bryce, especially behind this offensive line, DeAndre Swift, and then you have Jamison Williams, who he's familiar with, and then you also have Amon-Ra St. Brown. But from the Pac-8 to the Pac-10 to the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, what are your thoughts?
Well, listen, I think for all the right reasons financially, they had to do it, right? This was like a no-brainer for SC. The way the Pac-12 is going, the Pac-12 network, and the way that whole thing kind of started to fizzle out. ESPN got in with like DirecTV, obviously, and then they said basically to carry ESPN to have all of our other networks, right? Same with Fox and Big Ten Network and that whole deal. Like, DirecTV and all these cable providers are going to take Fox and ESPN, like you have to, right? Well, it's contingent on carrying all our other networks, Big Ten Network, SEC Network, all that. Well, the Pac-12 kind of did it on their own, and without the viewership, it's like, well, then we don't need to pay for that package of games that people don't want to watch necessarily, right? Yeah. People on the East Coast aren't going to stay up till 11 o'clock to watch Washington State and
Oregon State. No, thank you.
Interesting. Yeah, it's just not as interesting to them. It's a very regional matchup. So, I mean, the writing was on the wall. At some point, this thing's going to change, and now you're going to get these two massive, like, super conferences, right? It's basically NFC and AFC of college with the SEC and the Big Ten, and now the next chips to fall are, Clemson. Would Notre Dame ever join a conference?
Oh, there you go.
Those kind of things. I think that's kind of the avalanche effect that's going to happen at some point. But I think it's huge for USC. Although, like, it's a different deal, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Put this in perspective, right? I never played a game below, I want to say, like
55
in college.
Exactly.
So these guys are going to go, but hold on now. We're going to go play Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, potentially like back to back to back. Oh, and by the way, Iowa, some big.
Hey, Mark, guess what?
Midwest
guess what?
boys
It's about time.
Bang, right? Like,
it's
dude,
about time.
That's a different.
It's about time.
That's a different.
It's about time. I can't wait to bust USC's ass in the snow. I can't wait, man.
Every time, here's the thing. Every time we play you guys, it's in the Rose Bowl, right? And you guys come out, everybody's all excited about Hollywood. And, wow, look at this, look at that, look at the beach, the palm trees. And that's old hat to us. So we're just focused on playing ball. And we do well. We've traditionally done well against Big Ten teams. But it's been a favorable matchup for us because of the environment and the circumstances. Playing at the Big House, playing at Ohio State at the Horseshoe, like that's a real deal. And I'm excited for it.
Let's just say Michigan doesn't like Pasadena. Let's just leave it there. Let's just leave it there. Go ahead, Maz.
Hey, Mark, it's Tom Mazawey. Jersey born and raised, Jet fan. I love the papers in the background. I love that New York Post and that New York Daily News there behind it. It's my favorite papers. So welcome to the show. Appreciate it. Wanted to ask you a little bit about Michigan and Michigan State. Last week, we got a couple of Wolverines up here on the desk, and I consider myself a Michigan fan as well. But Michigan kind of handled Michigan State. They handled their business. They didn't look great. They got the job done. I wanted to ask you about the post game and what happened in the tunnel and your thoughts on that.
I did see our Barstool Presidente give his emergency press conference. Dude, those are some of my favorite rants.
That's funny as hell.
Emergency press conference.
That's funny as hell.
I mean, listen. I love how he has his image over the running video, like the playing video. I think that's amazing. I just think it's so funny. But
all right, be serious. Tighten up.
Tighten up. He brought up some good points because you don't like the same, especially a rivalry game. You don't like having the same tunnel. That's ridiculous. You usually let one team go first, and then at the same time, there were multiple people at fault. It looked like you don't want to run in there on your own. Probably not the smartest thing to do. Same thing in a regular game, right? Braylon, you make a big play on the other team's sideline.
Yeah.
You're talking and you're talking a little smack, but you're kind of backing up because everybody from their team's right there, right?
Right.
Now it's on your sideline and they got one of their guys kind of on an island. Now you're really up in his face, do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's real.
Home and away kind of thing. And it's just, I don't know. I didn't love that he went in there by himself. And then at the same time, why would you pick on one guy? I get it. You guys are mad. You just got your butts kicked.
Yeah.
So all the way around, I think there's blame that can go around. But at the end, you really want it to be so competitive to that breaking point of, all right, we're going to throw blows, or all right, we're going to get in a fight. Guys shove here, shove there, whatever. But when it really turns into fighting, kicking, okay, now we're kicking this kid's ass and he's by himself. That's just, it crosses a line where you don't want to see that in sports.
Yeah, it was a lack of class. I mean, it is a rivalry game, so there is that intensity there. You did just lose. The tunnel is tight, but the tunnel's been tight since 1927. So I kind of look at it from that perspective. I got two things, and I'm gonna let you go. I know you got your son. I know you got things going on. Yep. I'm gonna let you go. Thing one, NFL. Who do you like in the Super Bowl, and who's gonna win it?
Oof. You listed those teams in the NFC, right? You said Minnesota,
49ers,
San Francisco, and Philly.
Yeah.
Philly. I love those three. This is the long shot now. I've had a couple of their games, so it's a little recency bias. Seattle's coming, dude. Seattle's got something cooking up there, and it's.
I agree.
It's
hard to argue.
I agree.
Hard to argue. We saw him put up 50 here.
100%.
It's
Geno Jackson.
It ain't bad. It's pretty good. I really do like Minnesota, especially acquiring Hockenson. That's going to be massive. And then does the bubble ever burst in Philly? In the AFC, I mean, Chiefs, Bills, how do you mess with those guys? I thought that AFC West would have been a little more competitive this year.
It's not over. Broncos looked a little better.
Some high knees on the plane, got it rolling, or what? Come on. I don't know.
He had some ayahuasca.
I don't know. That one, and especially if they lose Judy in the next couple hours, come on. I don't know. That's gonna be big there.
Here's
I don't know what's
prediction.
going on in Green Bay and Tampa Bay. Those are tough. So I like Minnesota. I like
neither
Buffalo.
one of them matter. Here's a secret that I think is going to happen before 4:00. Alvin Kamara to the Chiefs. Now the Chiefs become the favorite in the AFC. I'm just telling you. You heard it here first.
Yeah, that'd be a huge
that
push.
happens
That'd
for sure.
But I'll leave you with this, Mark. Do you remember this particular ball right here? 80 yards in the AFC Championship, the longest jet wide receiver quarterback connection. This is the ball
here, I'll
thrown by you. Let's act like you're Mark.
That's the so obviously we run power. We run power so many times.
Because we set them up the last game of the season on 2-point conversion.
We set them up all damn year, dude. We ran
Yeah,
power
you're
on
right.
3rd and 6. Okay.
Who you telling? My shoulder still hurt. My shoulder still hurt.
So we obviously fake the power pass and don't block the defensive end. So I just remember
You
Shotty
pumped
and those
him,
guys
D.
being
Freeney.
like, hey, that pump fake, it better be fast because Freeney's going to be flying off the edge because nobody's touching him.
Yeah.
The tackle's going to release and get up to the second level to help show power, right?
Yep.
Which is a legal man downfield. He's just going to do it slow. So I pumped him and cut that ball loose, and I was like, damn, dude, that pump saved my ass. So I put him in the popcorn machine.
Yeah, you
He
did.
would have came and taken my head off.
Obviously, I'm running
But,
around, so
that
I
was
couldn't
a
see
hell of a
that
play.
until I saw it on film. I said, "Oh shoot, Mark almost got clean." Yeah, man. But Mark, I just want to say,
That was a scary pump.
I just want to say, brother, I love you. I appreciate you coming on, man. This was great. We got to do it more often, and keep kicking ass on Fox, man. You're doing your thing. Proud of you, man. From a 20-year-old kid to a father and a businessman now. Look at this guy, man. Look at this guy.
Growing up right in front of your eyes. Thanks, Dad.
I'm telling you about it.
Hey, Mark, great stuff, man. Thanks so much for the time. And again, you guys, we love you and Kevin Kugler together. I think Kevin Kugler is one of the most underrated guys out there right now. You guys are killing it. Continue to do so for Fox NFL. Incredible broadcast there. We appreciate it, Mark. Thanks.
See you in 2 weeks, buddy.
Appreciate you guys. We'll do it again. Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
You
All right,
got
Mark,
it.
talk to you, buddy.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come right back. I want to react to that. And Braylon, I want to get your thoughts on Michigan State.
And there's another trade.
The tunnel, big-time trade in the NFL. The game, college football playoff ranking tonight. There's so much to get to, so very little time to do it. We will continue to do so next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. You see the black and yellow sign out in front of your house. It tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. Call that number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey, everybody, for a limited time only, the all-new burgers and loaded fries are only available at Big Boy. Get on down there. It's not the Slim Jim anymore. You got to call it the Big Jim. And how about the chili cheeseburger and the bacon blue? And those fries, got to dress them up a little bit. How about some nacho fries, some chili cheese fries, some baked potato fries? You want to satisfy those taste buds only at Big Boy.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Braylon Edwards just finished talking to my man Mark Sanchez, Fox analyst and proud father. Hey, Maz, how good is it when you get these New York Jets guys on here, you being a New Jersey guy and all, man? It's got to do something for you, right?
Oh, I love it. I love the Mark Sanchez as well. I love that Jet team, and you happen to be a great part of it, and so damn close to the promised land after all those years. I mean, they haven't won a Super Bowl or been in a Super Bowl since they were in the AFL in 1969 with Broadway Joe. I wanted to bring this up to you guys. I read this on Pro Football Talk. That's Mike Florio and his gang from NBC. This is what he wrote about an hour ago. This is one of the reasons why some owners won't want to force Daniel Snyder out. The good owners like having bad owners around. Bad owners own teams that are easy to beat. He went on to say the Fords have owned the Lions since 1963.
I saw that coming.
If you're looking for a common thread that explains decades of dysfunction and underachievement and 0 playoff wins since 91, that's it.
You just bury your head, right?
Yeah.
And you just put your tail between your legs and you walk out the door. Because
that's a national guy. You know, it's something that we've been saying all our lives here in Detroit. But when it starts to like leak out and go to other parts of the country, And it's kind of embarrassing, really.
Well, it just highlights for you just the ineptitude of this organization. And again, we saw it with just go back to Quinn and Patricia, right?
Yeah.
Quinn and Patricia were brought here not to rebuild.
No.
They were brought here to go win playoff games and win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Expound on what Jim Caldwell had. Going to the playoffs 2 out of 4 years, but now taking it to the next level. It was very quickly that they had to rebuild.
Yeah.
And then you're rebuilding on a rebuild. And this feels eerily similar. However, and I will add that however, and again, I'm emotionally dead inside when it comes to the Detroit Lions, so I don't care.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
You really do, but it's
I
okay.
don't care.
No, you do.
I don't care.
You can talk, but talk is cheap.
This is a situation where you do have some players. However, those players have to actually develop and play. And again, I've mentioned it before. Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Paschal have to be your edge rushers for the next 8 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
If this thing is going to work, those guys have to be those guys for the next 8 to 10 years.
And
they just have to.
And Kirby Joseph and Jeff Okudah got to be your guys in the backfield.
Period.
I look at it from this point of view. So you guys are Lions fans. You've been Lions fan your whole life. Maz, you even told us about when you were in Jersey, you like the Lions as well.
I did.
So both you guys have been Lions fans your whole life. Me, not so much. So I'm approaching this from a non-biased, point of view. You got to look at the Detroit Lions in 2023. See, everybody wants results now, and yes, I understand you guys almost beat the Philadelphia Eagles, but you blew it. But it didn't happen. You guys blew it against the Minnesota Vikings, and so on and so on. But look at where the Lions will be in 2023 when they draft Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or or one of these 5 quarterbacks that are coming out, on top of having 2 picks in the first. So maybe you even sneak a Will Anderson at 2 or 3, and then you take the quarterback who's available at whatever the second pick is. But look at what they're coming into. You got an offensive line that we know works. Like, even when not healthy, this offensive line works. So when healthy, you got a dominant offensive line with a future Pro Bowler in Penei Sewell, a damn good center in Frank Ragnow, obviously Taylor Decker. You have that in store. When your running back is healthy, you guys need to take a running back next year, by the way, or pick up one in free agency. When he's healthy, you mix that in, that offense looked electric in the first 2 games of the season. You're going to have a quarterback that's going to come into a system where you have Jameson Williams, and if it's Bryce Young, guess what? Oh, he knows him already. Then you play Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other side, who everyone likes. You saw what he did his rookie year, and when he's healthy, you see what he did this year. So you got an offense that's already kind of primed to win 10 games if the quarterback comes in and he's ready. Defense is going to be where you guys got to draft. You got to draft well in the draft. You got to get another linebacker. You got to get another rush in. The draft in 2023 is very pivotal, but there is silver lining. I think Detroit is building the right way. You freed up $9 million in cap space, and then you have 9 draft picks going into next year. So don't look at 2022 or 2021. Focus on what 2023 can be.
Yeah, we'll pray for that. We will. We'll pray for that. Just to let everyone know, Bradley Chubb has been traded from the Broncos to the Miami Dolphins for a package of draft picks, including a first-round pick.
That's F them picks, right? Isn't that what the new saying is?
I guess
Unless you're the Detroit Lions. Oh, God.
The Broncos are trying to get back the picks that they gave up for Russell Wilson.
Unbelievable. And they're going to have to draft a quarterback, too, by the way.
And they're tearing their defense apart. That's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't understand. I get it that Bradley Chubb, you're going to have to break him off, and maybe they're looking at it from this point of view. Bradley Chubb's going to get paid. Like, he's going to get broke off next year.
He deserves it.
Exactly. So maybe the Broncos are looking at, we can't pay Surtain, Chubb, Russell, Simmons. They got a lot of guys to pay. But if this is a right now business, as good as that defense was, and you saw there looked like a sliver of hope for the Broncos on offense this past Sunday, I don't know if I ought to pull the trigger on that.
Braylon, want to go back to the college game next. Michigan State. The fallout continues. The reaction continues. I want your thoughts on that. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Maz and I are all
Who's winning?
Well, we started our plans yesterday.
Who's losing, you mean?
Started our plans yesterday. And look,
good point.
This plan is different for everybody, hence the word custom health centers. They will customize the plan that fits you. So, Maz, what did you weigh in at today?
I did. I weighed.
Okay. Do you want to share that?
Yeah, 265.
Okay, 265.
Yep.
I was 230.2. That's where I started yesterday.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to lose 20 pounds, and Maz is going to try to lose 50.
Well, I'm going to try. I'll start with 10.
I'm excited about this. It's kind of like a competition now. So it's great to be able to do it with somebody. But we started our customized plans again. We invite you to check it out. It takes the willpower out of weight loss, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. The effects that your weight has on you, my goodness, they are immeasurable. And they've got website, they've got the phone number. Here you go, customhealthcenters.com, customhealthcenters.com, or give them a call, 844-789-THIN. That number again, 844-789-THIN.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag #WoodwardFrontRow. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man.
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got one toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Looking to buy or sell your home, whether you're a player or a fan, helping you buy, sell, or invest is Michael Phillips' #1 priority. They make you feel like family. That's the message over there at Keller Williams Legacy in Dearborn. I had a great time there last Thursday. Mike Phillips does this well. 23 years in the game, and he's #1 for a reason. Whether you're a player or a fan, he's going to get you right. He's going to get you in the game. 313-403-0011. Game on, Michael Phillips.
All right, we've got more Lions news coming. Just really incredible, mind-blowing Detroit Lions stuff.
Yeah.
That's
it
where
doesn't end. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It doesn't.
Actually, it's the gift that keeps on punching you in the face.
It's really bothersome. We'll get to it in just a little bit. But Braylon, I wanted your reaction to the episode in the tunnel after the game, Michigan State. Just your reaction to that. And then, more importantly, almost the reaction to the reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, it is some of the stuff that I heard yesterday, and it's just mind-boggling.
In terms of, speak on it.
Well, I'll let you go first, but
I read a couple of articles yesterday. Listen to sports radio on my way
basically
as well.
blaming Jim Harbaugh for what happened.
I mean,
I got you.
The spin from East Lansing is one way.
Yeah,
right.
And it's.
Are you surprised?
It's avoiding.
I am.
It's avoiding
at Michigan
the truth.
State. You're surprised?
I'm surprised by everything because what I said yesterday was this: I hate the rivalry now. The rivalry is no fun. It is absolutely toxic. It turns the players into different people. It turns the coaches into different people. It turns fans into different people. It turns me into a different person. Like, we literally hate each other.
Yeah.
And we can't get enough of it. And I hate the rivalry. It is not fun. Can't wait for Ohio State week.
Yeah.
Want nothing to do with Michigan State anymore. I want nothing to do with Michigan State anymore. And I believe this is going to have some severe ramifications against their program and their head coach. Part
of that, in terms of hating that rivalry, in terms of what it is now, I think social media, I believe the narratives throughout the week, throughout the year, as it relates to Michigan State, as it relates to Michigan, as it relates to, Mike Hart, myself, Chase Winovich, Taylor Lewan, they play off that. They really have developed hate for Michigan State players. I mean, for Michigan players. I think Michigan on the same are starting to hate Michigan State as well. 1926, that stadium and that tunnel opened up.
Yep.
1926. 1926 the first time you've seen this. Trust me, I've been in that tunnel. I've had my brush-ins with Michigan State. I've had my brush-ins with Ohio State. I've had my brush-ins with Minnesota. Trust me, it happens. But there was always a level of respect. Like, there was always the level of respect instilled in us by Lloyd Carr, instilled in us by Jim Harbaugh, instilled in us by Bo Schembechler, instilled with them by Nick Saban and George Perlis, etc. There was a level of respect. I start with this. I was in Cleveland when Mel Tucker was in Cleveland when I got drafted. I say this all the time. I spent 4 years with Mel Tucker. I know who he is as a person. He is morally correct. He is ethically correct. I know how he talks to his guys. I know he is a good man. I know he preaches a good message. I had to start with that. With that being said, when you see something like that, man, there's trouble in that institution. Like, I think it starts from the top. Like, just like I gave him credit, has to start at the top with Mel Tucker. That's not okay. Like, there's nothing about that situation, that scenario. You can say the tunnel's too tight. They should have went at different times. The players, he shouldn't have skipped over on that side. None of that matters. Respect is respect. Like, when you respect, like, dog, we hated Michigan State, but when it's 0-0-0, I walk off the field, yo, TJ, good game. TJ Duckett. Yo, it's respect. Mel Tucker is in an interesting situation. The team sucks. You have this incident that comes out. It's all a black eye on Mel Tucker, and it stems from he got paid last year, and then everything will start kind of going downhill. So he's going to have to get this team back on track. And I'm not talking about the football field. I'm talking about having a serious conversation about who they are. They represent the last name on their jersey. They represent the name on the front, which is Spartans. They represent Mel Tucker as a head coach. They represent their families. They represent Michigan State as a school. They represent the Big Ten. That's not okay. And Mel Tucker has to know that, and he has to get those guys back on track. Now, as it relates to those 4 players, everybody's talking about, Jim Harbaugh's kind of going hard as it relates to the criminal charges. I think that's a bit much. And here's why. Was it malicious? It was. It was malicious and it was intentful, but no one got hurt. Like, no one got hurt. Like, criminal charges, no one got hurt.
I was going to say, I really don't know the status of Jamon Green.
He's fine.
Okay, if you're telling me he's fine. I don't know his father, but what
I would be mad if I was his father.
What is Jim Harbaugh's responsibility? Because I want to ask you this, Brad. Jamon Green's father is hired a lawyer, and they are going to press charges, the legal term, whatever, press charges against the player that swung the helmet at him. But the reaction is...
He didn't connect, though.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to ask you a question, I guess, and I'm trying to ask you...
Do I think that it's warrant of a suit?
No. Jim Harbaugh's reaction, Mel Tucker's reaction, is now going to be viewed and under a microscope for every player that is currently on the roster and every player that's being recruited by Michigan and Michigan State. Both these two men's reactions to the thing. So
I got you.
So regardless of what happens in this isolated incident,
the suit. Okay, I got you. Here's what I would say about that: how they respond, how they react. Jim Harbaugh and Mel Tucker need to have some type of sit down and move forward, because this isn't a good situation.
That ain't happening.
It can't happen if Kevin Warren the commissioner of the Big Ten set that up and had made them sit down because they hate each other. Jim didn't like Mel Tucker. You know what it is. He's smoking cigars and he lost to him twice. Doesn't like that. Then Jim finally gets the win, and then this happens. So Jim's probably thinking that their program's off the rails and that he's not a good leader of men. So you got to get some understanding. But here's what I would say about the kids, just kind of getting there. If I'm Mel Tucker, and I know this isn't going to be a popular take because you don't judge someone by their worst mistake, etc. But suspension, like you see what happened as soon as that happened on Sunday. You saw what happened with their linebacker commit 4-star.
That's what I'm getting at.
Decommitted. If I'm Mel Tucker, and this is going to sound harsh, especially coming from me, some guys that made mistakes, I expel him. I expel all 4. I expel the one that swung the helmet. I expel, and then the other 3, I'm putting them on a super series, or maybe all 4. Because here's the thing: if you suspend them, the transfer portal exists.
Just kick them off the team.
All they got to do is transfer. So all they have to do is transfer. Like, oh, you know what? I'm expelled. All right, bet. Well, I'm going to Clemson, or I'm going somewhere else. So the suspension could miss the mark, if you will. But if you're going to keep them on the team, suspend them 4 games, and then that comeback road. That comeback road has to be rigorous. That comeback road has to be rigorous in terms of they can't be around the program. They have to work out at 4 in the morning, so they're not there with the rest of the team. They're just working out and they're going to school. They can't be a part of the team until next August. But the thing that disappointed me about Mel Tucker and his response, he didn't apologize to Michigan.
He never did.
That's the one thing that I'm disappointed in Mel Tucker is he did not apologize to Michigan, and he did not apologize to the player individually and specifically. If I'm the head coach of Michigan State and this happens, the first thing I do when I get to the press conference, especially after I watch the video and you can see that it's 8-on-1, first thing I do is I apologize to the kid, then I apologize to the University of Michigan, and then I apologize to them specifically. I don't say, there's no excuse for this. We represent the Big Ten and we're representing our school. Like, there never was an official apology just to Michigan, just to the player. That disappointed me. But moving forward, man, Mel Tucker's in trouble right now, man.
I agree.
Mel Tucker's in trouble.
I agree. I want to expound upon that a little bit because I think that's worth the conversation.
And give my thoughts too. Yeah.
Yep. And I think the reason why you're not seeing much from Kevin Warren here is because there is a direct conflict of interest with Kevin Warren. His son was in that tunnel and plays for Michigan State. That's why a lot of this stuff is not getting taken care of at the conference level right now.
And I got a great thought on Mel Tucker and how this may have happened.
And we'll do that next. But first, a message from Swiss.
Swiss Insurance Group and their employees are heavily involved in their community. We keep talking about community. Community is the key word. It's very rewarding, but it comes with great responsibility. If you sit on a local sports youth board, homeowners association, or you volunteer as a coach, directors and officers insurance is a must. Make sure your kids, parents, and volunteers are protected. Let Swiss Insurance Group and my man Mark, let them protect you and the community.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. Baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All right, gang, it's getting close. It's Green Bay and Detroit this Sunday. Who wants to go and sit front row for that game? Hey, it's an NFL game. You want to go. I know you guys want to go to watch this game, and you want to enter our contest. So all you got to do is, it's not too late, do a video and send it on to Instagram and Twitter of your best Dan Campbell impersonation. Make sure you're following us, of course, and make sure you use the hashtag Woodward Front Row. Got that? We're going to select the winner this Friday. 3 different winners going to that game. 2 tickets apiece to sit in the front row. Your best Dan Campbell impersonation. Get it done.
Hey, man, you're right. It is an NFL game. And the way the Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay Packers are playing, that might be Detroit's next win. That might be the Lions' next win.
Or it might be a get right for the Packers.
It might be the Lions' next win.
It's funny. You pick the Lions to lose every game. You're going to pick them to win this week. I pick them to win every game, and I'm going to pick them to lose this week.
First time.
Me too.
You guys are on board.
I'm already telling you I'm picking them to lose.
Welcome in WoodwardSports.com. If you are tuning in for the first time, we certainly appreciate it. Tell a friend about Woodward Sports. Hopefully you like what you're hearing here. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, and Tom Mazawey, Fletch, and JB are in the house as well. We thank them for their efforts. And again, man, we are here every day from 2 to 4, Monday through Friday. Great product in the morning as well. Morning Woodward Show. Darren McCarty, Neil Rule, Terry Foster, 11 to 1. We've got the heavyweights after us, 5 to 7. We invite everybody to WoodwardSports.com. And again, hopefully you like what you hear and you stick around with us.
And more trades in the NFL.
Absolutely. We'll get to that. More Lions news. But Braylon, just I want to pick up your thoughts on the Michigan State situation and really what this means for Michigan State more than anything.
Here's what I would say, and this is in direct reflection to Mel Tucker. Mel Tucker is an NFL-minded coach. And what I mean by that, Ryan and Maz, is when you get to the NFL, it's not like college. College coaches, they hold your hand at 18. They hold your hand at 19. They mold you into being a young man. They hold you accountable. They instill discipline. They instill values and morals. Like they mature you in that 4-year period or 5-year period or 3-year period. Like they instill things in you that last forever. Like to this day, I still have values that Coach Carr, that Eric Campbell, that Jim Herman, that Brady Hoke, that and the list goes on, have instilled in me. With NFL coaches, when you get to the NFL, Ryan, I'm talking rookie year too. They're not here to hold your hand. They are here to make sure you understand the playbook so that you can operate at the best of your ability so that they can continue to feed their families. They're not interested in the extra things. And now you see where I'm kind of getting. Mel Tucker, NFL-minded coach, been in the NFL for a number of years. Some people can't just be that Lloyd Carr. Some people can't be Nick Saban. Some people can't be and the list goes on, Bo Schembechler or whoever else. Barry Alvarez, there we go. I was searching. But you can't be that guy that worries about all the kids and talks to the kids differently. Like, okay, this guy comes from this background, he's 18. I got to treat him a certain way. I got to treat him different than this kid. Instill the values. It seems to me, Ryan, and I know this, I know who Mel Tucker is, but I don't necessarily know how he's operating in Michigan State. So this would be an assumption or a guess or a reach, if you will. The program just seems too loose. Like, it seems like he just operates at a very loose rate. The kids are treated kind of like adults. Hey, look, man, just be where you're supposed to be on time. Like, just do what you're supposed to do in the game, et cetera, et cetera. He treats them almost kind of like grown man NFL players, which is cool to a certain extent until you have instances like this, until you see things like this. So I would question, how loose is that program in Michigan State? Like, how is he running that ship from Sunday to Saturday? Like, how is that program running? Are they being held accountable for going to class? Are they being held accountable for being on time to certain things? Are they being held accountable for, whatever it is? You saw with Mark D'Antonio. Like, this didn't happen when Mark D'Antonio was there. When Mark D'Antonio was there, you saw what happened with who was the running back that kept getting in trouble, and he just kept suspending him. He kept holding him accountable. But like, I wonder how loose that program is in East Lansing and Spartan Village, because it looks like it's a direct reflection, because this wouldn't have happened.
Is there and here's one of those key words, phrases here. Is there, based on this instance, if Michigan State wants to, would this classify as a lack of institutional control situation in East Lansing, where you could get out from underneath that contract if you believe this thing is going south?
Yeah.
Maybe that is an instance you could say, you know what, we're firing you for cause. Lack of institutional control. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just asking if this thing goes down a road here, because anytime anytime you're investigated.
Yeah, it's not good.
They find stuff. Right?
This is very true.
They
very
find
true.
stuff, and the rabbit hole continues. If you go looking, you're going to find something.
But let me say this too, though. Now, because I had all day to think about this as well as yesterday. I have to say this as well. It's not all on Mel Tucker. Like, it starts at the top. You have to ask questions about Mel Tucker and how he's running that program. But with that being said, these are grown men. Like, these are grown men. Like, I get it. You make mistakes. But these 18, 19, 20 years old, you mean to tell me that they're old enough to get NIL deals for millions of dollars, and they're old enough to be able to know what to do with that millions of dollars. They're old enough to be able to time management in terms of going to class, staying away from being out all night partying and doing this and being on time to practice. They're held accountable for those things as 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old individuals. You got to put the onus on them for this moment too. Like, when I was 18, I knew that that's not okay. And look at all the Michigan State players that were around the situation and didn't intervene. And that's another thing that bothered me about that.
Can I say one thing?
I saw one player grab. I saw one player.
I did too.
I saw one player grab a Michigan State player and take him out. It was a big offensive lineman. He grabbed one player. That was it. It was a bunch of Michigan State guys watching their guys. Like, if this would have been us, if I was there, like, let's say I was kicking or punching or swinging a helmet as I was 18, 19 years old. Don't you know Larry Foote would have grabbed my little ass up and dragged me in the locker room?
Let me say this. I've watched this video a million times.
Looking for different angles?
Looking for everything and every number.
Number 4 on MSU is the big culprit.
Yeah.
Number
Helmet
4.
swinger, right?
Yeah.
But I want to say this publicly because there was one guy that I saw.
There was one. I saw it.
It was Xavier Henderson. And
Wow.
we've
been going back and forth.
Have been going. We've been riding this kid.
We're busting his balls.
We've been busting his balls for 2 years, and that kid was the only one that I saw. I didn't see the guy. That was the only one that I saw that was trying to get everybody in the locker room. Go in the locker room. Go in the locker room. That's the only kid. So I want to make that clear. Shout out to you and kudos to you because that's pretty incredible when you see a melee here and you're the one guy that is saying, hey, do the right thing, go in the locker room. Good for you, Xavier.
I'm glad you said that because I think part of the reason why this rivalry has gotten to what it got to in the tunnel, as we kind of touched on it, is it's the build up for Mike Hart, and I'm not blaming Mike Hart, but I'm saying it's the build up from then to now social media, to now look at the comments, to analysts, and I think I had a part in it as well. What I'm going to tell you from now on, Ryan, when we talk about Michigan State, I'm not saying that team sucks or this player sucks or blah blah blah. I'm not commenting on what players say out of Michigan State. My job is to say what I think about the game. I would say it like this: I don't think they have a really good, deep secondary. The offensive line gives up a lot of sacks, etc. I think Michigan will run them over because of the offensive line, and then the running back play of Blake Corum. You know what? No more talking about players individually, no matter if they talk to us, if they tweeted us, if they do whatever. Our job is not to talk to those players because as those players have access now to talk to us directly and talk stuff about us and we, get into a back and forth, we're grown men. We know how to handle that and just be joking. Those kids take it personal and then when you get in the game, it's like, yo, you know what? F these, it's like that.
Braylon,
and now you develop hate.
I said this yesterday. I'm a grown-ass man, married, 2 kids, 7 and 5-year-old, 2 jobs, and I'm out there tweeting like a maniac.
So
you know what I mean? Because of what the friggin' rivalry does to you. I hate it. I'm not involved anymore. I am removing myself from this crap, toxic rivalry.
I am making an apology to talking to Xavier Henderson as a player in college or Chuck Brantley, etc. From now on, it's strictly business and it's strictly about the positions. It's strictly about my analytical take on what the game will be. Never again will I ever comment to a player or respond to a player. You know what? Because I'm 39 and I don't have time for that. I think that is. I kind of contributed to it, if you will. And maybe not, but I feel I did, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll say from day, like I've been saying since day one, the guy that got under my skin was Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah.
And he's still under my skin. When I think of him, this reminds me of a little Weasley guy, like the pop in the face. And then when Mel Tucker's puffing that cigar at you for the last 2 years.
Right.
It just reminded me, I might as well put his face on Mark D'Antonio's body at that point. They made me not like the program. That's all.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. The hate's got to stop. It really does. It's just a damn game, for crying out loud. I mean, and we're not even playing.
Yeah.
It's the kids that are playing. But what happened in that tunnel, it can't happen.
We got to get back. You got to get back to respect. Like Michigan,
that's
Michigan
right.
and Michigan State have to get back to respect, because this was a respectful rivalry for years. First game is 1898. You've seen a bunch of different coaches, a bunch of different stars. You've seen heated exchanges, but it was all within the realm of the game and the rivalry. This past Saturday, it got out of hand, and we got to get back to the respect.
Braylon, can I just say, you had mentioned that you think Harbaugh and Mel Tucker should sit down. I don't think that can happen, because I don't think either one of them respect each other.
Nope, they don't. They don't.
I don't think either one of them like each other. I don't think either one of them respect each other. There was a moment.
But if I'm Kevin Warren, just like when Juwan Howard and the coach from Wisconsin, like they made those guys they talked or hashed it out, or they sat down. Like, the only reason I say they need to have one sit down, I don't care. As soon as they walk out of the room, Mel Tucker's like, man, F that mofo, and Jim Harbaugh's like, he can kiss my ass. Like, I don't care if that happens. But for optics, just to move past, because if you don't, this thing is going to fester to next year.
And I don't think Jim Harbaugh, Ward Manuel want to hear from Kevin Warren on this, to be honest with you.
True.
Because, again, his son, Powers Warren, number 40, the sixth-year senior, is
6
a tight
years,
end,
damn.
got the COVID year, transfer, and then a COVID
allegedly.
year. He's in that tunnel. He doesn't want to hear from Kevin Warren at all. This story is not going away.
It's not.
And I'm curious to see, you mentioned there's no injuries. I hope Jamon Green plays this week. If he's got a concussion or if he's in concussion protocol, that's a very bad thing.
But you know what this did? Now let's get back on track. Let's get back on track with the actual game itself, football, whatever.
Can we do that next?
You sure?
I am sure. Can we do that next? First, a message. Gonna get to the game, then Lions news. I know we're packed today, folks. But first, a message from SMA.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance use disorder. They have a podcast here at woodwardsports.com, and it's called This Is the S Word. And the S is stigma. Mental health, we are trying to destigmatize it, letting you know that it's okay to not be okay, but we're also providing you the content, the conversations, and a platform where you can get the information and questions that you have. Go to thesportsma.com. Sean Jordan does an amazing job. SMA, the sports marketing agency, and NFL Alumni Association of Detroit. Thesportsma.com.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Only at Big Frog can you get yourself a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Stop in today, tell them we sent you, and they will print you out one right on the spot. So stop in today at Big Frog in Novi, or check them out online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
Yeah, what I was saying before we went to break, Ryan, Ermanni, and Maz, on this beautiful Tuesday, is what just happened with that incident in the Michigan State. It's very familiar to 2008. After Mike Hart makes the comments, little brother, Michigan State has been riding that same song and dance for the past 14 years, using that to motivate themselves, showing themselves that every night before they play Michigan State, they're showing it during the week, they're talking about it. Hey, they still think we're little brother. They've used that for motivation, and to be honest, they've whooped our ass for the most part from 2008 to last year. last year. But now, that incident in the tunnel, much like in the words of FDR, that day will live in infamy. Because Jim Harbaugh will use that every year to show his players before the game at what he believes Michigan State to be. And that's going to be, this not his words, but maybe mine in paraphrasing. Yo, this is a classless institution that doesn't give a you know what about you. They don't care. They hate you. You saw what they did to your brother. Did you see what they did to your brother last year? And they can run that message for the next 20 years. And it still will be like the first time you saw it. That's going to be powerful. I know if I was on the team, and this is next year, and I'm watching that the night before a game, I'm like, yo, I'm about to go nuts on these teams. They just effed up majorly in this rivalry as it relates to on the field.
College football playoff is going to be announced later tonight. The rankings, first week of the rankings are going to be out. And based on what you saw on the field, Braylon, where do you think Michigan lands? And are you concerned a little bit? Because I am a little bit.
I think that Tennessee has the best win right now. They beat Alabama in Knoxville. That's the best win in the country this year. So I think Tennessee will be number one. I think Georgia will be number two because Georgia beat the hell out of Oregon at the beginning of the year by 40. And now Oregon has won 7-8 in a row. They've only have that one loss. So I think you'll have Tennessee 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3, and I think because Michigan has been on TV so much, whether it's Big Noon Kickoff, whether it's ABC, whatever, that win against Penn State almost beat Ohio State. They hung in there with them. I think they'll slide Michigan to 4, and I think Clemson is 5, and I think Alabama is 6.
Yeah, I don't know where Michigan will probably be 4. I don't care if they're 5. I wouldn't hate it. And the reason is because it's going to take care of themselves.
100%.
Michigan and Ohio, I don't care if Michigan's
we're not TCU. We're not TCU.
I mean, it's going to take care of itself. If Michigan is on the outside looking in today, it doesn't matter.
But it will let you know what they think about Michigan's schedule and what they think about Michigan.
I will say, but Michigan needs to be better, man. This red zone situation is a big deal, and I think this lack of a deep passing game, 6 completions to wide receivers in the Michigan State game, only 6 to this group of wide receivers who we have touted as the most highly talented group of wide receivers in 15 years in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, Ron Bellamy and Jim Harbaugh did that, not I. I keep talking to Maz about, in order to know you have this in your arsenal when you play in that playoff game, or when you play in Columbus, or you play a national championship, you got to know it's there. You can't just find it all of a sudden when you haven't used. I don't understand how you get in the red zone and you have Andrell Anthony, who is 6'3". You have Clemens, who is 6'4". I haven't seen one effing fade route the whole damn year. But I've seen Michigan in the red zone a lot. I've seen these little funky screens they do that don't work. I've seen these little off tackles. I can tell you every play they're going to run as soon as they cross the 21. I know what they're going to run. And then when they get, I told you, Josh Gaddis, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. Once they get to the 5-yard line, why can't I see a fade? I
know.
Like, how hard is it? How hard is it to throw a fade?
Why can't
How hard is it to throw? Michigan should be throwing, including 9 routes, which is the go route, 9 routes and fade routes. Michigan should be throwing 6 a game. Because if you got a young quarterback that you're not necessarily sure if he's ready to really take the range at, easiest throw for him is a 50-50 ball. Especially when you told me this dude was the next Braylon Edwards. Especially when you told me this dude right here can run 4.4 and is 6'4". It's not that hard. Like, they got to start just throwing some 50-50 balls in the red zone. They got to throw fade routes. They got to throw the fade route. I am desperately watching. I am desperately begging the offensive coordinator, Sharon Moore and Weiss, please throw some fades. Please throw some 9 routes. Because I tell you like this, if you don't do it against Rutgers, you don't do it against Nebraska, you don't do it against Illinois, you're going to go to Columbus and you're going to need to be able to throw a fade. You're going to need Andrell Anthony to get you 80 yards. But guess what? Since you haven't done it all year, guess what? Now the moment's different for J.J. McCarthy because he's like, can I not? I don't know. You better help J.J. McCarthy out because trying to figure it out November 24th, that ain't the time to do it.
Well, you hit everything on the head, and I know Ryan is full of vim and vigor here. I'll just get it out.
No, I'm good. I agree with everything he said.
I know that.
Like, not even one thing that I
But you don't agree with me when I bring up J.J. McCarthy. And I just don't see it. What you see, I don't see.
Okay.
I saw Cade last year do better, I think, than J.J. McCarthy.
Hey, Maz.
That's my opinion.
Maz. It's time for me to start agreeing with you. It's time for me to start agreeing with you. At the end of the day, J.J. McCarthy, you promised me this. You told me that the guy that got you to the playoffs.
He can run.
Exactly. You told me that the guy that got you to the playoffs, we appreciate you, Cade McNamara, but you're not special like this guy. You can't run like this guy. He has a sharper arm than you. Like, he has more moxie than you. Okay, so we went with it because we said, yeah, we saw Cade JJ a couple times last year. In a flash, you're like, damn, he does have a rocket launcher. Damn, JJ is fast as hell. He caught up with Blake Corum. So we got excited. But then through 8 games, we have not. This is like when the Illiches told us we were going to get LED on top of LCA, and we all got excited. Here we are, 7 years later. I have not seen any LED lights on top of LCA. I'm telling you like this. I believe J.J. McCarthy has skill. I believe it. But you know what? Right now, I don't see anything that suggests he should be starting over Cade McNamara.
Here's where I'll push back on both of you. Cade. And here's where I'll start agreeing with you reluctantly. Very reluctantly.
Okay, I take that.
But it's hard to. These two eyes, they work. Cade had Josh Gaddis calling the game last year. It was a much different game that was being called.
Yeah.
And I am not impressed with this offensive.
We don't even know which one.
I don't even know who's who. And I am not impressed with the offensive game plan from the Michigan coaching staff. And I think this is not a JJ problem. I think this is a coaching problem and a scheme problem. So I'm telling you, I believe in my heart and soul that JJ is a much better quarterback than Cade McNamara. I think he's got the tools to be the greatest quarterback in the history of Michigan football. You may tell me I'm crazy on that. Fine. My sports opinion. I think he's being coached like crap.
I 100% agree with that. How many times have I brought up Josh Gaddis in the last 4 weeks? And before everybody goes crazy on the chat, I know Josh Gaddis sucked his first 2 years here. See, it's not a kid, it's a coach, so I can say he sucked. He sucked his first 2 years here. We were waiting, and everybody said, oh, well, it takes time. We got to get the right players in. We got to get the system going. It took him 2 years. And then his third year last year, even at the beginning of the year, it wasn't great. It's just they were running the hell out the ball. But then you start seeing him do certain things. You start seeing the Wisconsin fourth quarter. And he was like, yo, that was a well-executed fourth quarter by Josh Gaddis. You see the Penn State game, the play that they have been setting up with Eric All for a year. You saw that to win the game at Penn State. You saw the play call at Ohio State. I tell you like this, that first touchdown to A.J. Henney, they had been setting up that jet sweep fake the whole season. Every time A.J. Henney went in motion, you knew he was getting a jet sweep for 2 yards, 3 yards. They faked that jet sweep and came and threw that touchdown. I said, oh, Josh Gaddis is in his bag today. And then you see the Iowa game. You see the trick play with Donovan Edwards. You see the trick play. You see the third quarter. Josh Gaddis figured it out in his third year. It did take 3 years, but he was rolling by the time they got to the midway season last year. He was rolling.
I'm bored out of my skull watching them on offense. And what did we say at the beginning of the year? We went game by game.
Yeah.
The three of us. How many times are they going to score 40-plus points?
They shouldn't ever score under 40. If they score under 40, it's on them.
How many times have they scored over 40?
4.
1, 2, 3.
Against the JV.
And then Penn State. Penn State's the only other game on their schedule they've scored over 40. And I do believe that is the game plan that's being called. And I said yesterday, too, I don't look, they can run all over Rutgers.
Yeah.
It's going to be no problems. They can run all over Rutgers. I think they need a JJ game here. They need a JJ game where they throw it up 30, 32, 35 times and let this young man just let it fly. We know you can dominate Rutgers.
That game needs to be the Illinois game.
Get them some confidence.
That game needs to be the Illinois game. Illinois appears to be a decent team in the West. Now, they're not going to be Michigan or anything like that.
They're going to win the West.
What are they going to do to State this week?
State's a 16.5 underdog
already. They're probably not even practicing yet for Illinois.
Practice?
They're probably still, let's face it, they're a mess right now.
Forfeit the season. Nah, but you definitely want to see something out of JJ because I'm telling you like this. Like Ryan Ermanni, as God is my witness. My senior year at the University of Michigan, we had a freshman quarterback by the name of Chad Henne. At the end of the year, we played in Columbus, but guess what? We had played Michigan State. Lloyd let Chad do his thing. Lloyd let Chad do his thing against Minnesota. Lloyd let Chad do his thing against basically every game after Notre Dame. Lloyd said, you know what, let's take the training wheels off. We got Mike Hart running for $150 a game. Let's take the training wheels off. So when we got into Ohio State, yeah, we lost to a team that wasn't better than us. But Chad knew that he could make those throws. We knew Chad could make those throws. The offensive coordinators knew. They felt confidence in this freshman to make those throws because they watched it for the first 12 weeks before that. That's the only issue I have, because when you get into Columbus, it's a different beast. It is a different animal.
And I know Michigan's 8-0, guys. I see a couple people in the chat. I know Michigan's 8-0, but for me, this isn't just about being 8-0 or beating Rutgers. This is about beating Ohio State. It's about beating Tennessee. It's about beating Georgia. It's about beating Alabama. And you can't do it if your quarterback can't throw for more than 10 yards down the field. Got to give him an opportunity to build some confidence. We'll get back into some Michigan talk tomorrow, but I do want to get back into some Detroit Lions talk right now. DeAndre Swift, my goodness, the revelation from Dan Campbell. We'll have it next. But first, a message from the Foaling Warehouse. God help us all.
DeAndre Swift cannot go to the Foaling Warehouse. I don't want him to get hurt. All right? The Foaling Warehouse is fun.
It's terrible.
But you know what? I don't want him to throw his shoulder out again. So anyway, get to the Foaling Warehouse and Hamtramck. A fun time for you. 2 ways to play. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. 10 or 12 of your friends on a lane. You get it for 2 hours, and it runs you $120, less than $10 per person.
Only $10?
Anything.
Hey.
How about that? How about it? Get any drink you want, because they got multiple full bars and a great beer menu. Over 100 beers to offer, and the $2 mystery beer machine. Feel free to bring your own food in or even have it delivered. Foaling Warehouse. Check it out at foalingwarehouse.com.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag #WoodwardFrontRow. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest to front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man.
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got 1 toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh, wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries, what will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
It says Alta, though.
Hey everybody, JB here letting you know about Planet Fitness and how they are home to your judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Yeah, that's right. The gym has always been known to be clean, but now it is cleaner than ever. With tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. Best part about all this, you get it all just for $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, Ryan, only $10 a month. So join In Club today or check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Hey, Ryan, looks like
I still believe in the guys that we have. I think that I know what we have on the back end, and I think they're good enough to help us compete and win. And we just we got to see if we can get them going even a little bit better.
That was
we know who it
Dan
is.
Campbell. Sorry, I almost said Jim Harbaugh.
We know
that was Dan Campbell.
Yeah. Lot of wins between those guys. Lot big difference.
Guys, Dan Campbell was saying that DeAndre Swift is most likely going to be out again, right? Because they pushed him. He's just not right.
We pushed him too hard last week. He is not there yet. He's not ready.
5 carries, 6 yards, and he did score a touchdown on the receiving touchdown.
That was the first one.
But Braylon, is this an even bigger indictment of DeAndre Swift, or, and this is where I'm falling, an enormous crater size situation for the Lions coaching staff?
I think, in fact, I know that it is both parties are to blame. Both parties are to blame, because I guarantee you DeAndre Swift has been listening to the fans. He's been listening to TV. He knows when he's in there, they have a better chance. He's been listening to people like us talk about the best ability is availability, so he wants to get out there for his team. DeAndre Swift wants to play for the Detroit Lions. He wants to help. He wants to be the guy that he know he can be. With that being said, it is the coach's job to protect him from himself, and that's also Dan Campbell listening to the pundits, listening to people saying he needs to be out there, trying to get a win to prevent from going 1-7 and 1-8 and 1-9. So I think it's both of them have responsibility in that, but it's on Dan Campbell and the coaching staff. I would say 80-20. Your job is to protect the player. Like, look, if the player can't go, like if you know that he's not himself, like if you know he's not 85% or better, and when I say 85%, you know he's not 85% or better, don't let that man go, especially if you know you guys have been losing games. You're not in any danger of getting to anybody's playoff, to winning anybody's NFC North. Don't have that man play, because guess what? We saw that with Grant Hill. You keep putting him out there, and then Grant Hill's ankle was messed up for 3 years. It took Grant Hill 3.5 years to recover from what Alvin Gentry made him do in terms of his ankle. So it's a bad situation for DeAndre Swift, because you feel bad, because you know the kid can play. You know he wants to play, and he keeps getting hurt. It's not his fault. He works out hard as hell. He works out in the off season. He's prepared. It happens to some people.
Sometimes
like that.
It just doesn't work out.
It happens, yeah.
It's a bust. That's it. He don't stay on the field. He can't get on the field. Just shut him down then, I guess. I mean, let's face it. Shut him down. Shut him down.
I don't like the term bust. I've never been a fan of that, but I do agree with you, Maz. I think it hasn't worked. Like, it just hasn't worked for DeAndre Swift in his 3-year or his 2.5 years so far in Detroit. I agree with you, Maz. You got to just shut it down and then make some decisions.
We all know Javid Best was a phenomenal running back, but they drafted him knowing the kid had one of the worst concussions, one of the worst head injuries I've seen a football player have. And obviously, he could not last through an NFL season. A great back. Could not last. DeAndre Swift's an electric back. He's a beast. Can't stay on the field. So, I'm sorry. It's over. It's over. Shut him down this year. Forget this year.
He never needs to see another snap this year.
Forget
Just get
this
healthy
year.
and try.
Yeah. Get healthy. Let's see what happens next year. I doubt he'll stay healthy again.
I say,
but what the hell?
But this is where I go. I say shut it down this year. Get him healthy. Get him fully healthy. And it's not about we'll see again next year. It's time to trade DeAndre Swift and see what you can get for him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe at the trade deadline next year at this time, maybe you could do something like that. I don't know. Look, the term bust you usually reserve for somebody that's no good.
Yeah.
But I understand the
word.
context here because it is just for Lions fans to finally get an NFL good player. I mean, we're you kind of talk in terms of, well, they're good for the Lions.
Right.
Are they good for the Lions or are they good like NFL good? Like your Lions good, but some people are NFL good.
Yeah,
DeAndre Swift is a top 6 back in this league if he's healthy.
100%.
Period.
You saw that in the Philly game. What you saw in the Philly game was enough.
Can't play for you.
Remember what I talked about early in the offseason? We were talking about DeAndre Swift. We were talking about him not being on the field a lot. What are those issues, and would this be a different year? And I said it's something about them Georgia running backs, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's something about the Georgia running backs that it happens quick and they can't stay on the field, whether it's Sony Michel, whether it's DeAndre Swift. You saw how fast they ended for Ty Gurley, although he had an electric first 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just looked at a stat that said Ty Gurley he's second in rushing touchdowns, and he hasn't played a game like 3 years. But you look at him, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb's the only one.
This coaching staff too, man. I mean, I am having some really, really, really big doubts about Dan Campbell. I am. I don't.
Come to the dark side, baby.
I don't think he's going to get fired, but
Maybe you don't have the right guys. He hired his friends. He hired former players. Maybe everything we thought was great isn't good.
Look,
maybe
I don't know.
There's a reason nobody did it before.
I don't know. I guess I could go through the league and check this out, but just off the top of my head, Dan Campbell fired a coordinator last year. He fired a position coach this year.
A deflection.
Like in a year and a half, is there a coach in the NFL right now that has fired more coaches than Dan Campbell in this time span?
I don't think so.
No.
I can't believe that there is. So what does that tell you as well?
The Colts fired their offensive coordinator as well.
Frank Reich's been there for 5 years.
Who were the two teams that were the darlings of Hard Knocks?
The Colts.
It was the Colts and the Lions together on the same field. Remember Frank Reich and Dan Campbell? Hey, let's do this again next year.
What, lose? Lose all again?
It just speaks to this organization and really an unorganized kind of just plop it on the table and see what you find. Because what is your belief? What is your belief system? Can you stick with something?
Yeah.
You don't like Anthony Lynn? Well, you hired him, you fired him. You don't like what's happening in the defensive backfield? Well, you hired him. Now you got to fire Aubrey Pleasant. I mean, look, find me a coach in this league that has fired more coaches than Dan Campbell.
In a short time.
In a year and a half. In a year and a half. Barely a year and a half, find me more that has fired more coaches than Dan Campbell.
When I watch the Detroit Lions, it's painful, by the way, but when I watch the Detroit Lions, there are only 4 capable positions that I see. There are only 4 positions I see that when the Lions are healthy, it looks good, and it looks like you have competent guys working those positions. One is the offensive line, which is coached by Hank Fraley. One is the wide receivers, which is coached by Antoine Randall. One is the offense when everybody is there, coached by Ben Johnson. And one is Deuce Staley. When his running backs are healthy, the running backs look good for that offensive line. Outside of those 4 coaches, I don't see any competent coaches on that team. Now, it may get better, but right now, I don't trust any one of the coaches on the defensive side of the ball and the head coach.
I don't blame you.
We're going to run through a list of the trades. Trade deadline coming up 22 minutes from now. We'll get you the latest news coming up. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. No secret that new cars are hard to come by. They are available at Les Stanford. Got to make a plan. Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford has over 300 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. Head on in to Michigan Avenue in the great city of Dearborn. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey guys, at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment's got everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a coverage and give them a call at 1-844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Uptime, it matters.
Now it's time for the Swiss coverage play of the week. My man Mark at Swiss Insurance Group. Here we go. Detroit Lions 4th and 2. The Detroit Lions need desperately to get this 4th down so that they can try to win the game against the Miami Dolphins. What are we going to do? It looks like cover 3. Hit the next one all over there, Flex. What you'll notice about this play, this is a really good coverage play by the DB in the slot, because what happens is you see in the slot right there, the guy that's a hit, that's going to be DJ Shark. Hit the next one for me, please. All right, hit the next one. Hey, skip this one. Here we go. Now, the reason why this is the Swiss coverage play of the week for the Miami Dolphins, brought to you by my man Mark at Swiss Insurance, is this. This is a decent adjustment by DJ Chark. This was actually a Josh Reynolds, excuse me. This is a well-placed ball by Jared Goff. This is a well-placed ball. He put it right back on the other side. He didn't lead him up this way. This is a good ball by Jared Goff. Gives him a chance to catch a touchdown, actually. But you know what happened on this play? Because the DB was in phase and he had to take a weird angle, he short arms it. If he goes here, he catches the ball for a touchdown, but the fact that his arms are bent, he can't get to the ball.
Extend.
You got to fully extend that clip, man. You got to fully extend. 4th down, didn't get it, didn't convert it. You see the DB with his hands up because he did his job. That is your Swiss coverage play of the week.
Great job, Braylon.
No problem.
Great job.
Appreciate
Great
it.
job. Great job. Great job. All right, we got.
I wish you caught it. Then I could do another play.
Trade deadline coming up. God, I'm trying to find this one. Here you go. Galloping Lake 6 puts on the Woodward Sports.com chat.
Username.
Yeah, Rod Marinelli fired his defensive coordinator his first year, then his offensive coordinator the next year, then got himself fired the 3rd year.
How about a shovel? Pitchfork?
Right. That sounds like
axe.
That's the track Dan Campbell's heading on. Fire offensive coach first year. Fire defensive coach second year. Get yourself fired.
Aaron
the 3rd
Glenn's
year.
next.
But that's not a good look, because it goes back to what we've been saying, what I keep expounding on when looking at Brian Daboll and what the New York Giants are doing. You gotta hire people that know what the hell they're doing. When you hire an offensive coordinator, Ryan Ermanni, when you hire a defensive coordinator, Maz, you gotta be able to be cool with them and not have to worry about what the hell is going on in the offensive room, or not have to worry about what's going on in the defensive room, because you trust those guys. Those guys have a proven track record, and those guys are gonna put your team in the best position each Sunday. And that's not what he got out of Anthony Lynn. That's not what he got out of himself last year. That's not what he's getting out of Aaron Glenn. Damn sure what he's not getting out of Aubrey Pleasant. It's not a good look, man. I mean, I know they paid him. I know he'll be here 6 years, or he's getting paid for 6 years. But right now, it just doesn't look good. Even if they get these free agents next year, even if they draft well next year, is the guy at the helm capable?
Right. Maz, you want to go through some of the trades that have happened so far?
I got you covered. Let's start with the Dolphins. They trade a 2023 5th-round pick to the 49ers for Jeff Wilson, the running back. Obviously, Jeff Wilson loses his gig to Christian McCaffrey. No shame there. The Dolphins also make the big splash of the day. They get Bradley Chubb from the Denver Broncos. A package of picks there, including a number 1. Don't have all the exacts on this. This one is the fun pick. You ready for this?
That's a hell of a move by the Dolphins, by the way. That's a hell of a move by the Dolphins. The way that Tua's playing, the way that Tariq Hill's on pace to beat Calvin Johnson over 2,000 yards. Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert gets you in second and short.
Hey, it's Mostert and
Wilson back together again.
Together again. Mostert's like, damn, stop following me.
Seriously.
Yeah. Good stuff there.
Good stuff.
How about the Falcons traded Calvin Ridley, who was on suspension for the year for gambling, to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 5th and a 2nd round pick if all goes well for him. And they can't use him until next season. You know why he got suspended?
Gambling.
Do you know what game he was suspended on?
The Jaguars and the Dolphins.
On the Falcons. He was betting on the Jaguars that day.
Oh, my God.
And, of course, he now gets traded.
That's going to be a good look next year, man.
To the Jags.
You have him, Trevor Lawrence, actually having a decent year this year. He's looking like someone, not necessarily a first round yet, but he's getting there. Christian Kirk, along with Stephen Ridley, and then Etienne in the backfield, that could look like something.
Steelers trading for Commanders cornerback William Jackson the third. The Steelers also shipped Chase Claypool, as we told you earlier, to the Chicago Bears for a 2nd round pick.
Bray, I said this yesterday. I think the Chicago Bears, with a first-year GM and a first-year head coach, are above the Lions rebuild. They are ahead of where the Lions are in terms of a rebuild, and yes, they have their quarterback. Yeah. Until the Detroit Lions get their quarterback, this rebuild hasn't even begun.
Yeah, they got a running back in Herbert now. It seems like they're actually running the ball really well in the last 4 games. I think they're in the top 8 in the NFL, maybe even 7. But they have Herbert, they have Montgomery now, you have Mooney, and then you put Chase Claypool on the other side. They're actually allowing Justin Fields to do what he did at Ohio State. It's just like we talk about with Greg Roman and Lamar Jackson, just like we talk about Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Stop trying to get quarterbacks to do something that you didn't see them do when they were in college. Meet those guys where they are so they can have the best success.
Brandon Cooks is still available. The Vikings supposedly were the closest team to getting him. We'll see if that goes. Another few more minutes to go.
And Jamal Williams.
He's on the block as well. He'll be a free agent next year.
Yeah, again, you're just looking at players that, A, the Lions would be willing to part with, and B, players that other teams would want for the Lions. I think Jamal Williams would be the likely guy. But again, look, you have to play the rest of your games with somebody.
Right. The biggest trade, obviously, is Hockenson.
Craig Reynolds and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I guess you could go that route and just kind of mail in the rest of the season.
I wonder what Jamal Williams would command, though. I couldn't imagine.
Maybe a 5th round pick. Maybe a 6th round pick.
I'd say 6. Yeah. 5th is a little high for Jamal.
But I mean, again, fine, tack it on.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
Maybe you could take your if you identify a player that you like and they're still around in the 6th round, maybe you could package your 2-6 and move on.
And Alvin Kamara is still out there. There's other running backs like Akers is still out there.
Cam Akers,
Rams need a running back. Rams need a lot of stuff.
There's something funky.
Rams are dead. Packers are dead.
There's something funky with Cam Akers and Sean McVay.
I think he slept with Sean McVay's wife or something.
Come on.
Something. Well, something like that. Because he doesn't. It's an intense situation there.
Yeah.
Guys, very good. All right. Maz, you good?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Well, I was just asking if you had any more news before I move on.
No more trades. This is the Hockenson.
Okay, so we're going to come back. There is potentially some breaking news in the NBA that I want to get to. It's very disappointing to me, and I will tell you why coming up next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Guys, I want to get to some NBA news today because Steve Nash has been fired in Brooklyn.
Finally.
Just did not work out there. We talk about this all the time.
He's the happiest guy in town.
Yeah, some of the
still getting paid.
Great players do not make great coaches.
But here's the thing, too, though. Like, you can't just because you were a Hall of Fame player, because you were that good, because you're a two-time MVP, you can't just take up a job as a head coach right out the gate. Look at Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard was the head coach at the University of Michigan. Did you see the route that he took? He was on the bench with Miami as a player coach. Then he was just a coach. Like, you got to cut your teeth somewhere. You got to cut your teeth.
They're trying to be the next Steve Kerr. They were trying to make Steve Nash the next Steve. Steve
Kerr was on the staff with Greg Popovich for years before he cut his teeth with the San Antonio Spurs, and then he got his opportunity.
Okay, so what happens now with the Brooklyn Nets, right?
Wait a minute. Look, hold on. Who the hell can coach Kyrie Irving and Ben Simmons? Who? There ain't a guy in the NBA that can coach those guys.
So I don't want to get into the Kyrie stuff, and the reason why is religion, politics, and all that. I don't want to get in it. No way. I'm not touching it.
He has bombed that place.
I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. But what I would say is this. When you watch the Brooklyn Nets last year, when you watch them this year, when you watch their half-court sets, Steve Kerr does not know how to coach his way out of a paper bag. He does not know Steve Nash. He does not know how to set up half-court sets. He doesn't know how to get the pick and roll going for those guys. He doesn't know how to switch the defense to go 90 feet when you get to the start of the second quarter. He does not know how to get that team going and break it down, and they look awful. If you ever watched last year, remember how they were this good team, and then was Kyrie came back, he's averaging 50 and 40, but they're still losing? That's because at the end of the game, Steve Nash didn't know how to set up a play, and they just guys out there dribbling and playing basketball.
All right, so I couldn't care less about the Brooklyn Nets, but I will say this. The reason why it's important and the reason why we're talking about it now is because it looks like former Celtics coach Ime Udoka is going to get that job in Brooklyn, and they're going to work out something, and he will be the next head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. And I am devastated by it.
Yeah.
Because I think Ime Udoka would have been the perfect coach for this Detroit Pistons team. 45 years old, experience with a younger team that grew together, that got better, that ultimately made an NBA Finals. Just the development of young players, working with a young team. I thought Ime Udoka was a perfect next head coach for the Detroit Pistons, and I just wish they would have had the foresight to go get him.
Ime Udoka essentially did in Boston what happened in Golden State.
What you are trying to do here in Detroit.
Brad Stevens is Mark Jackson. Got that thing going in the right direction. Got the players you wanted. You got your Jason Tatum. You got your Jaylen Brown. Couldn't get you all the way, but got you good. And then you insert Ime Udoka first year. He takes them to the deal. Same thing with Steve Kerr. He comes in and he gets those guys to the deal in Golden State. Ime Udoka is a damn good coach. And the Nets, this is what they need. Like they got a guy like this can set up. It's going to be interesting to see, especially after obviously Kyrie and what's going on.
No doubt about it. So we'll see. And again, no slight to Dwayne Casey. It is what it is. He is the second oldest head coach in the NBA. You've got the second youngest team in the NBA. I just thought that was a marriage that could grow together.
They got to be other guys out there. There's probably other young guys out there.
Nobody like Ime who's done it though. maybe somebody like him, but nobody that's actually done it.
Maybe Chauncey comes in another year or two.
But again, he hasn't done what Ime has done. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was so high on that. You almost kind of felt like it was a perfect storm to try to marry these two, Pistons with Ime, but doesn't look like it's going to work out. Looks like he's going to take the job in Brooklyn.
World Series Game 3 tonight from Philly.
Finally.
Philly's never lost at home this postseason, but, it's baseball. You never know what's going to happen. Hopefully they'll get that one in. They're going to play every day straight through. And you know what happens on Thursday night? It's Philly and Houston in the NFL, and it's Philly and Houston in Major League Baseball.
Who are you guys rooting for in this one? Somebody asked me that question today, and I was like,
What game are you talking about?
The Astros and the Phillies.
The Phillies.
And I asked this question: who has a black GM, or who has a black manager?
So
I'm cheering for Dusty Baker. I'm cheering for Dusty Baker.
Yeah, I mean,
we got no black. We have no black players in the World Series. At least we got a black manager.
I didn't consider
Go
that.
Dusty Baker.
I didn't consider that, but you do have to kind of root for things, right?
Yeah.
So, for me,
I love Bryce Harper.
Again, I almost want it like that. I didn't consider the Dusty Baker thing, but I am starting to worry about Justin Verlander now a little bit. If he starts winning this, and
going
again,
into the Hall,
it's the baseball Hall. Verlander doesn't get to choose who he's going into the Hall of Fame with. Baseball Hall of Fame chooses who he goes into the Hall of Fame with, and if he wins two World Series with one team, and has the greatest 4-year stretch of any pitcher in the history of the game, and doesn't win a World Series with this team. There are some inequities there.
He's 0-7, by the way, as a starter.
And the other part of this, why I lean to be rooting for Philadelphia, because I don't want Verlander to win another one. And there's something something about the fact that Dave Dombrowski would have now won a World Series with every team
either way.
he has managed. He has general managed, except the Tigers.
Oh, they didn't give him a chance. He wasn't good enough.
We're screwed either way.
But think about
it's in
that.
your face.
You're
Castellanos
right.
and Dombrowski or Verlander. Take your choice.
Dave Dombrowski is on the verge of winning a World Series with every team he's been with except the Tigers.
He got us there twice, though.
Exactly.
Should have gotten us there 4 times.
Detroit is cursed.
Oh, my goodness. Guys, top story today, TJ Hockenson. He gets dealt to the Minnesota Vikings for a second-round pick this year, a third-round pick next year, and then we send 2 fourths their way. One of the fourths is a conditional pick. Could turn into a fifth. But again, just last words on that, Bray. Lions mailing it in on TJ Hockenson.
Like I said, I like this. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to pay T.J. Hockenson, that Travis Kelce, that George Kittle money. He's not worth it in my book. So if you're not going to pay him that money, you got to get something for him now. I got to get it while it's hot. You get a second round for him. You get a compensatory pick as well. I think it's a good look. You're adding that draft capital because next year, see, now you can get jiggy with it. You saw what he did in terms of Brad Holmes with Jamison Williams last year, moving up 12 picks, finagling some picks around and be able to get Jamison Williams. So we've seen him make moves. So the more picks that he has, the less money he has to spend. You know what? I'm all for it.
All right.
I'm fine.
Good.
I'm fine.
All right, Bray, get us out of here,
I'd rather
man.
not go to Minnesota, but he's there.
Oh, man. Love you guys, man. Glad to be back. Banging headache and all. We did it. Michigan State. You got to go to YouTube and check that out. That was a damn good conversation. Ryan, Ermanni, Maz, and myself. Also, TJ Hockenson. He's out of here. But you know what? Phillies, Astros. Go Astros, Dusty Baker. For my man, JB, Maz on the couch, Fletch to my right, and brother from another mother to my left, Ryan,
You know what
Ermanni.
time it
We
is.
are Ermanni and Edwards with the main man, Maz.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.